Hey, what's up, you guys? You already know what time it is. It's Taco Tuesday, which means it's another live night for Life with G podcast. It's the Puerto Rican podcast, Princess, your favorite baby mama in the building. And we don't have JR, but we will get into that in just a moment. But we do have a very special guest tonight. Miss Heather, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Heather Reese. I'm a content creator and model and attorney.
Yeah. Welcome, welcome. I'm super excited to have Heather on. Everyone who's watching, if you're new to the family, be sure to hit that subscribe button, like the episode, and share, share, share. Don't forget to tap into the live chat as well. Robert, welcome in. Robert, I haven't seen you in a minute, buddy. He said, let's go. I'm super, super excited, especially because I don't know if you knew this, but you are the first Latina that is actually going to be on Life with You podcast. And I'm so excited about that. How do you feel about coming on tonight?
Oh my God, I'm so excited and I'm honored to be the first Latina.
I know.
So yeah, no, I'm really excited.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about, yourself, how you grew up, your ethnicity, all that good stuff?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm adopted from Peru. I was raised in like an upper middle class Jewish home. And about 2 years ago, when I went through a divorce, I was like, I have to find myself. I need to figure out a way to connect with my culture, my life, everything. And I really leaned into the Latina community. And then I
Mhm.
decided I wanted to start a series where I showcase Latinas, and I've been doing that. And the Latina community's been riding hard for me ever since.
Right, they're very supportive. I've seen that on your page. Anyone who wants to check out her page and what Heather is up to over there, be sure to go to that Instagram at which is under her camera right there. Yeah, I really love the work that you've done. So you said in the past couple years, it was after the divorce that you felt like you wanted to do that. What was it about your divorce that you felt like really was that motivator to get back to those roots and support fellow Latinas?
Yeah, for sure. So I feel like I was so young when I met my ex-husband. I was 17. And I like went from being this like ideal, perfect, like Jewish daughter to being this like wife, to like having being defined by all these other things that when that kind
Mm,
of blew up in my face, I was like, well, for the first time in my life, I get to identify myself. I get to choose what I want, what I like, what
yeah.
I'm into. And I really wanted to embrace something that I'd kind of repressed for so long, which was my culture.
Mm. And shout out to you for going back to that and embracing it fully. I know I'm not sure how many of our viewers are in that circumstance, but I was born and raised in the States. So sometimes it's hard to like really tap in with the culture and find a way to identify with it when you're surrounded by American culture and people who aren't like you. So can you talk a little bit about that? Growing up in a Jewish household, being adopted, how much when it comes to your culture do you feel like you were exposed to while growing up in that household?
Yeah, for sure. So my parents were like, my sister's adopted, my brother's adopted. So they were always like very upfront about us being adopted. One, because my dad is like a 6'7" hippie from California. So there was
Mhm.
like no mistake that I was his blood. And my mom is like short Jewish woman. So like we just don't look like them either. So we
Mm,
always, but our parents were always super open about it. So we all had maps of our countries in our rooms growing up. And our parents brought back jewelry boxes from our countries filled with things that had like for me it was Peruvian. So like Peruvian money, Peruvian art, Peruvian pictures, I had Peruvian toys.
mm,
They were really big into making sure that we knew where we were from. The only crappy part, right, is that my parents don't speak Spanish. So
mhm,
my like I said, I went to a Jewish school, so I learned Hebrew and I never learned Spanish. And like
mm.
no one ever believes I don't speak Spanish, like, the amount of people that come up to me and start talking to me in Spanish, I'm like, "I don't I'm so sorry,
I don't
like, I'm
understand.
adopted, I don't speak it." And it's like,
Mhm.
that kinda sucked growing up because that to me,
Yeah.
like, and so many people in the Spanish culture when they're like, "You don't
Mhm,
speak Spanish, then you're not really Hispanic, you're not really Lat."
mhm.
And I'm like, "No, babes, like, you were born here, I was born in Peru, I'm as Latina as they come."
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's always a really difficult part, I think, just within the community, especially for those of us who did have a different upbringing, weren't exposed to Spanish. Because there's some Spanish households which, for those of you who may not be familiar, there's some Spanish households where the grandparents and generations down, they didn't want to teach the language. They didn't want to, really indulge in the culture. They wanted to assimilate so that way their children wouldn't face any discrimination. So that's another thing that a lot of Latinos face. So yeah, that's tough. Have you met a lot of Latinas that are like you that may have felt like, I don't really know Spanish like that, or I'm not as in touch with the culture, like while you've been doing this, I guess sharing their businesses for them?
Yeah, for sure. So, like, I actually joined a Peruvian adoptee group, which I met through this amazing girl I met like one of these Latina events in New York City, and she
Hmm.
like makes jewelry. She's Peruvian, and she was like, "Hey, I'm adopted," and I was like, "Wait, you're adopted from Peru?" She was like, "Yeah." She was like, "There's a whole network of us." So yeah, through
Wow.
that I've met a whole bunch of other Peruvian adoptees. So it's been really cool.
That's amazing. I love that. I really feel like that's the internet's great for that, just finding your people and just putting yourself out there. Yeah, I wish I had that when I was growing up. I grew up in like small town country places, nothing but a white population mostly. I didn't get exposed to shit until like college, I think. And then even then, it was, like, still not Hispanic culture. When I moved to Jacksonville, it was the first time I walked around, I was like, "Oh, like, everybody's speaking Spanish, like, it's not a secret cheat code anymore, everyone understands you down here." Like, it's a whole different world, so dang, that's crazy. That's wild. Okay, so you support the businesses. How did you get started with that? How were you first, like, finding them, and how did you start networking with these, other Latin businesses?
Yeah, so I had made a thread on Threads about a year ago. It was for
Mhm,
Hispanic Heritage Month, and I was like, I'd love to showcase Hispanic, Latino, Latina, Latinx businesses for Hispanic Heritage Month. And I thought like 5 people to respond. And then like
mhm,
hundreds of people responded. And
mhm.
it grew into this like big series that now I do like weekly. And it was just companies reaching out to me, some of them big, some of them small. Now I've worked with over like 75 to 100 different ones. But yeah, no, it came from Threads. Threads has really been an amazing platform for me.
It really has. It's a networking machine. If those of you wanna, meet other people, that's definitely a good tool to use. Well, that's amazing. So when it comes to these businesses, how does that work? They just reach out to you? Is it kinda like you do a promo? Do you get anything out of that? Because I think there's a misconception sometimes with pages, maybe like yours, that there's like an ulterior motive. So how does that really work with, kinda giving them that spotlight?
Yeah, for sure. So I don't make any money from the series, and I've always said from the beginning I was never going to charge businesses, Latino or Latinx businesses, because for me it wasn't about making money, and for me it's
Mhm.
not about selling you the product either. I'm not
Mhm.
sitting here telling you this is the best lotion that there is in the world. I'm not sitting here telling you this is the best lip scrub in the world. I'm telling you that
Mhm.
this is out there. The whole reason I started the series was for visibility, wasn't for selling. So it was to say that when instead of you thinking of whatever box brand company you're thinking of. I want you to think of a Latina-owned company first. For me, it was
Mhm.
that Latinas make up a huge purchasing power, and we're putting our money into other things. We're putting money into businesses that don't put money back into us. And for us to
Mhm.
create generational wealth, it happens by buying from our own people. So I said, again, it's not me telling you this is the best product. In fact, I tell them all the time, like this shit could break you out. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Right, okay, I got you, yeah.
Like, I don't know if this is great. I don't know if this is hella pigmented. It might not
Mhm.
be. I'm not a makeup guru. I'm not a skincare guru. I'm not a makeup guru. This is me saying, "Hey, this is the name of a company you can use, you can buy from." Not,
Mm,
"This is the best product in the world."
yeah.
And I think that's the big difference is that it's not really so much me selling it to you. It's really me just saying it was about creating visibility from the start.
Mhm.
Um, and it wasn't just with businesses. I interviewed over 20 professionals. I those videos just haven't
Mm,
come out yet because it was like, I wanted you to think of I wanted you to be able to put a face to a Latina in a professional field. Because
I
when I
love
grew
that.
up, I didn't see Latinas in professional spaces, right? My
Mhm.
doctors were old white men, my teachers were, white women, white men, and it wasn't like I wasn't a face I was seeing. I wasn't thinking of, all right, when I think of a nurse, I think of a Latina. When I think of a
Mhm.
therapist, I think of a Latina. When I think of um, a chef, I think of Latina. When I think of a financier, I think of Latina, right? I got to
Mhm.
interview a Latina wealth activist. She's like this huge. like,
Mm,
basically finance bro, but she's a Latina. She's, like, out here killing it. So, it was
wow.
about like I said, the whole series is about creating visibility.
I love that, and I like that you don't necessarily, like, say, like, "Hey, I'm vouching for this product," but you're just letting people know you have options. Because I think that's another common misconception as well, when they look for people in their own community that may offer something that these bigger brands do, they don't think they're not able to put a name to it if they don't have the greatest marketing or anything like that. Have you seen these businesses, significantly flourish, maybe with their income, their revenue after being able to just get anyone to kinda shine a light on their business.
So, like, I can't speak for the businesses in any capacity
Mhm.
because, like, I have businesses that say to me, like, "Hey, what are your analytics?" And I don't even look at mine because to me, it's not about that, right?
Right.
Um, so I know that, I've had friends in Arizona buy from, like, for an example, Sueños Coffee. It's a subscription coffee company, right? They work
Mm,
with women Latina roasters. They get delivered to your door. They send you, like, different brands of coffee, but they're all Latina roasters. They're all women roasters.
mhm.
So I made a video about it and I was like, "Hey man, like this is coffee that can get sent to your door, like how easy, like whatever." And my friend, an attorney all the way in Arizona, bought it for herself, then bought it as gifts for people. And like
See?
that I directly saw, right? Another thing,
Mhm,
I also did a video for Naked Bar Soap, which is a Latina owned soap company. They also make lotion, tons of other stuff. And I would just spoke at an event for Latina lawyers, and in the gift bag, they had given out Naked Bar Soap because they had seen it
mhm,
from a video that I had done, and then they reached out to Naked Bar Soap. So, I mean, like, I've seen it in that way, and I've seen people I know, like, I know my friends that buy from it. Like I said, my demographic is so across the board, right? Because I have
yeah,
just, like, young Latinas that follow me from all around, and then I have, like,
mhm,
lawyers. So, like,
yeah,
the lawyers get to go see this, like, brands that they probably never would be exposed to.
mhm,
And I see them out there buying stuff, that I've posted, and like I said, it's a good thing to see. I've never calculated, I never asked businesses. I don't use affiliate links, like, that's not my thing.
mhm,
Um,
yeah,
I don't get any kickbacks for anything that anybody buys from anything, like, even if I tell you to give you a discount code, it's so you get a discount, I absolutely receive 0
you don't
money
get
from
it
it.
from it, yeah,
I'm like, "No, no, no, no,
yeah,
no, I don't want it to ever get traced that I make a dime." So, I
cut
really
down
don't
on any of that.
product, but that's it.
Yeah. So in your experience, so you're able to, give people the options, give that extra exposure, which is amazing. A lot of people when they do go to like shop locally, um, there can be some concerns with, whether the product might be labeled as too expensive or anything like that. So in your experience as a consumer alone, switching to focusing on those businesses that are Latina owned, have you noticed like an increase in the um I guess the product itself, like the quality of the product? Have you noticed any like issues that you've had with pricing, anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna say the product's more expensive, but it's more expensive
Mhm.
because it's better in terms of where you're getting it from, the people that are making it, and I think that's the big thing, right? Like, we all wanna buy from, like, Shein, right? But, like,
Yes.
are you really helping, the chain of how the clothes get made to to how they get on somebody's body, right?
Right.
And for me, I try to use my money intentionally. I try to use intentional spending. Now, is that a privilege? Sure. But I also think you can, if you want to buy quality goods, you can buy quality goods. You can put money, different places. Now, again, like I said, not every product I talk about is super cheap, but then again, like the soap lasts longer, right? Is it 85 cents? No, it's not 85 cents, but does it last longer? Sure. Is it ingredients that you know where they're from? Yeah. Is it
Yeah.
something that you look at, you can see and it's tangible and you're like, "All right, I feel the like whatever is in it, sugar comb or whatever's in it." Yeah. So I mean, the products are more expensive a lot of the time, but for me, that's an intentional spending that I think is worth it because I know I've met all these business owners, right? Like I've met each one of them, like either virtually or some other way. That's the big thing about it is I like to talk to the founders too because I want to know why you did it. I want to know where you're from and how your heritage plays a role. and why you decided to go into whatever you decided to go into. So, I mean, for me, that's kind of the big thing. So, yeah, I'm gonna say it's more expensive. It is, but I
Mm.
mean, quality stuff is more expensive.
Yeah, and I think there is this interesting phenomenon for me. Like, we'll go out and spend tons of money on just like a handbag or tons of money on these other materialistic things because social media tells us to. They tell us that it's cool. So that's why I like what you're doing because you're putting that out there on a public platform and showing people like, yes, you have these options. They can be good for you, and even though they are more expensive, the a lot of times the quality is better and you end up being better for it. No, I love that. I love that 100%. So talk to me about this new career that you're kind of going into, which is modeling. How did that get started? How are you liking it so far? Because you are in a different lane than most, and then you do represent the Latina community, which is amazing. So tell me how you got started in that.
Yeah, so it started on Threads. Most of the amazing things in my life
Okay.
have started on Threads. I was with an amazing woman, Mallory, who runs Crusades of Curves, made a post on Threads that she was looking for plus size models on the East Coast. And I replied back and I was like, hey, I'm not a traditional model, but I'd love to be considered. And she was like, hey, lucky for you, Crusades loves to work with new talent. Send me a walking video. And I remember I got that. I was at work at the time, and my assistant at the time, I was like, yo, Lauren, take a video of me walking down the hallway right now. Like, now, now,
You
now,
were
now.
ready.
Yeah, and I sent the video, I took the video, I sent it, and she was like, "You're booked," and I walked in a runway in that September, and
Wow.
it was amazing. What Crusades does, which I think is super great, is she's very selective and curates the women that are in her shows, and they were all so amazing. I mean, I'm a nobody. Like, I was not a model, I've never walked a runway,
Mhm.
and they were so willing to help me, so willing to teach me, and so willing to make me feel comfortable. So it was an amazing experience. Since then, I've done a few content shoots for some companies in New York, and then I'm going to be doing Crusades of Curves again this year. So it's been an amazing journey. I love modeling. I love the community, and the whole thing for me was really I wanted to show people that Latinas come in all shapes and sizes. Like, we're not all Sofia
Mhm.
Vergara. I wish I was sometimes, but like that ain't
Right.
it. But like I love me and I love my body and I love the way that I am. And that we can come in different shapes and still be beautiful. And you don't really need to make yourself digestible for society to, want a piece of you. Because I think that's kind of like what my life has shown that,
Yeah.
someone's interested at some point.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think a lot of women just struggle with that like self-image to even have the confidence to say like, "Hey, I've never done something like this, but like consider me." What was your mindset? Were you just like, "Fuck it, I want to do something new. I'm just going to put myself out there?"
Yeah, no, for sure. I think that like the divorce changed everything in my mind. Like it reset my brain. I
Mhm.
think like I always knew I was that girl, but for a long time, I kind of like simmered down in my personality because of the people that I was around and what I was involved in and who I was with. And then I think as soon as that kind of broke apart, I was able to be myself again. And I've really never had self-confidence issues or issues where I was like, if this is something I want, I'm gonna go get it. And if it's meant for me, it's meant for me. If it's not, it's not. And I think that's, sometimes hard for a lot of people to like understand. I think,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to like conventionally attractive people, like, they find it incredibly hard to digest when somebody like me loves themselves, when somebody who looks like me, acts like me, and for me, it's always been like I wanted to show the world, like, you can love yourself, and when you really love yourself, you don't seek validation in other people. You're not out here being
Right.
like, "Do you think this is pretty? Do you think that this is enough?" Right? Like, you're like, "No, this is pretty. This is enough." So
Yeah, and I love that mindset shift and I think divorce is a very difficult situation for anyone, but there is that like rainbow. There's that light at the end of the tunnel, and I think it is a lot of like identity, self discovery, starting fresh. At what age did you get divorced, if you don't mind me asking?
32.
Okay, 32. Okay, yeah. So, and then you're in your prime. You're in your 30. 30 is the new prime. Okay, 30 is the new 20.
It
Okay,
is.
we were just talking about that earlier. Like we're still trying to figure out life. Um, So yeah, that's a huge shift for you. I can say after my divorce, I felt like an initial like, oh my God, is somebody gonna want me after this? Am I good enough? Because I just went through it. And then I definitely found confidence. But I do struggle with it from time to time. And your energy just gives me it almost gives me the impression that you rarely struggle with it. So can you talk to me about maybe since your mindset has shifted, any sort of like relapse thoughts you may have had and like how those come up and how you combat those?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge proponent of therapy. Like, I think therapy's
Mm,
great, be in it, and if you think you don't need it, you probably need it more. Um, I've been in therapy since I was young, so being self-aware has always been something that I was kind of taught at a young age, and I think that's like a amazing gift that you're given. I don't think struggling with who I am has ever really been like something deep rooted in who I am. Like I remember the day that me and my ex-husband broke up and I remember saying like, "Are you sure? Cuz like I'll be married in 2 years." And he was
mm,
like, I don't even remember what he said back, but I was like, I'm not sweating it. Like just make sure you're sure." It's like I don't ever go back on something. So I think like confidence has always been something that I've had and I don't think it's something I can tell somebody how to achieve. I think it's how I was always taught is that treat yourself like your best friend, right? However you would
mm,
speak to your best friend is how you should speak with yourself and how you should view yourself. So at a young age, I was always like, how do I talk to my friends? How do I treat my friends? Like, how would I want my best friend to feel about what I'm saying or doing? And that's kind of how I talk to myself. Like I'm like, "No, you're beautiful, you're sweet, you're kind," right? It's like that movie, like, "You is
yeah.
important, you is kind," like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and I think words are powerful, you know? And
Yeah.
when you're telling yourself something so much, it's just what you believe. And I think, like, I always say to my friends, like, "I wish you saw yourself the way that I saw you," right? Because if you did, you would be like, "Of course I'm amazing. Of course I'm gorgeous. Of course I'm worthy of love. Of course I'm worthy of kindness." So yeah, I mean, I think all you can really do is um figure out what works best for you in terms of like affirmations and really like hyping yourself up because if you're not hyping yourself up, I don't, you know what I mean? No one else is going
Yeah.
to.
No, you definitely have to be your biggest cheerleader. I do want to tap into the comments. Thank you guys for commenting and joining the convo. Just wanted Chica, welcome in, Mama. She said 30s are great. 40s have so far been a roller coaster in a good way. I'm kind of like excited for my 40s for some reason. Like I feel like 30s is just going to be building and then 40s is going to be like enjoying the fruits of the labor. That's how I'm thinking my life is going to go right now. Mike G said facts on the therapy. We all need it. Yeah, we do need it. Therapy isn't always super accessible, but we do have a lot of stuff like online to kind of help us sort through that, journaling, all these good things that we can do. Man, okay, so you
Therapy is a
got divorced. Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say therapy is a privilege and it's accessibility,
Hmm.
right? Like I'm here to say that I got it at a young age because my parents were well off, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not like everybody can afford therapy, but I think when you get older and you have means, you put money where you find things that are important. And if you truly struggle with the way that your relationships are going and the way that your relationship with not only yourself is, but other people, then you find that money, you find that time because like you said, it's so much more accessible now. It's not like you have
Mhm.
to go to somebody's office to go get therapy anymore. There's
Yeah,
therapy online and there's so many BIPOC therapists. You know what I mean? Like if it's about comfortability and who you're communicating with, you're not just necessarily talking to somebody who looks nothing like you anymore. You know, I did an interview with tons
yeah,
of Latinx therapists who have an entire collective of therapists. So, I mean, they're out there and there's tons of BIPOC therapists. So, I think, like, it really has to be something that you wanna do and look into, but then you can there is options out there.
yeah. I definitely agree with that. And I'm glad that they do things like telehealth now, because I almost feel like being in a physical space with a therapist, especially like in the first couple of sessions, can be very awkward. And like I'm not ready to open up. I'm still trying to get comfy, but like the telehealth offers you like a level of comfortability for sure. So yeah. And I think a lot of jobs offer it as a part of their, like, insurance package, at least a couple sessions for free, so y'all should really look into it. Just One and Chica said, "40s are don't give 2 Fs, do the best you can." I feel like that's my 30s
Same.
and my 20s. Do we ever grow up? Oh my goodness. I don't know, that kinda scares me. I don't know if I wanna do 40s and, Imma just do the best I can. Damn. I guess that's life.
Exactly.
Dang. Mm-mm-mm. Well, I do wanna talk about, like, just more into the self-discovery and things like that, and then it transitioning into, like, that culture pride. I think a lot of us have gone through that. Um, where would you say, like, your mindset is, now as far as, like, are you wanting to open up your own business? Has this inspired you maybe to open your own firm or anything like that?
No. You know how much work it is, and I said, "Not for me, not for this girl."
Right?
Um,
Yeah.
no, I think, I just wanna continue to do what I'm doing. I just wanna continue to being a voice for people that aren't necessarily out there. Since I've started my series, I've expanded it to all BIPOC, business owners, because for me, it's like, yes, my deep-rooted passion is with the Latina community, but right now we kind of all gotta stick together. Um
Absolutely.
So, I've definitely, changed that up with that, but no, I think what it's done is it really showed me that I love, advocating for businesses, and I love advocating for people that really need their voices heard. Because it's not necessarily that their product isn't great, it's just no one knows that it exists, and I mean, I think
Mhm.
that's the big thing I wanted people to see is that there are other options. You can put your money into things that matter to you, you know what I mean? You can put your money into things that you get to see the direct thing back. You get to see the people that are using it. And, the only real way that we security is created is through, generational wealth.
Yeah. I was watching a video today actually, where this woman was talking about how people of color needed to create their own system of giving each other privilege so that way we can be seen and we can be put up. Anyone who's actually made it, like, again, give back to the people that are where you came from. And I can't speak enough about that because even like something as simple as doing a podcast and me having that as a part of the tagline, like Puerto Rican pot, like just putting that out there shows representation. So it is important. I do want to ask you, have you received any like pushback on that drive to shop more local? Because I know a lot of people, for whatever reason, don't like it. Like, and I don't understand why. But have you gotten any like negative feedback on that?
I get negative feedback all the time. So
Okay, let's talk about it. I want to get into it. Like, if you could do clapbacks, what is some of the things that you hear that you wish you could kind of clap back on, and what would you say?
oh, I always clap back. And
Yes.
I would say, like, I read all my DMs. So it's either
Okay.
like you hate my guts, you hate that I exist, or you're like obsessed with me. And I'm just kind of always like, listen, wherever the chips fall. For me, a lot of it is like, so people really, really, really hate that I like myself. People really hate that I'm a big
Mhm.
girl who doesn't hate themselves. And I would say the majority of the comments that I get are like hate comments in the clothes that I wear because
Mm.
I'm not super conservative, and I think that that's a lot hard for people to swallow, especially because of my profession. People, I guess, want me to look
Mm.
like the Constitution. I don't know what that looks like, but I guess to be a lawyer, I'm supposed to look a specific way, and I've never really played into that. I don't think professionalism is um, synonymous with the way that you dress. I think that conservative dress being professional is a like gatekeeping method that has been used for years because people couldn't
Mhm.
afford nice clothes. So for you to say like you don't think I'm professional because of the way that I dress, it's kind of like that's the a lot of the stuff that I get. Like people will comment on my TikToks and stuff and be like, if she were my attorney, I would just plead guilty. And I'm like, it's so funny. One, because I don't handle criminal law. Two, like, you obviously don't watch any of my stuff because if you did, you know I don't do criminal law. And yeah, I mean, whatever you're pleading to, it's not gonna be me standing by you, babes. Like, that's not my
Right.
that's not my area of expertise. Like, come back with an educated insult if you're going to, like, be like, "Oh, she'd lose my personal injury case." Like, do something, be better
Mhm.
at it, you know what I mean? Which, like, I wouldn't, go check my Google reviews, they're all amazing. So it's like, for me, it's, people hating is so, like 2000 and late, right? Like, I'm like, "Dude,"
Mhm.
I'm like, "I've never took the time to go hate on somebody else." I don't genuinely care enough about somebody else's life to really wanna criticize it, because 'cause I'm just out here living, and if you
Yeah.
hate the way that I look, act, and are, then don't subscribe, don't watch me, right? Like, I'm not for you, I'm for the next person, and that's totally okay, I don't need to be for everyone, right? But yeah, no, I would say my comments, like, I get a lot of weird comments, and then a lot of weird DMs, and then a lot of really mean ones that I'm kinda like, "I think you thought you did something with that, but, like,
Right.
really, I'm just sitting here eating pizza on my couch with my fiancé." Like,
Chilling.
you ain't doing anything to me, really. I'm about to
Yeah.
go get sized for my next modeling gig, and you're out here telling me ain't worth shit, so
Yeah, I admire the confidence. Was there like a learning curve? Because I'm like, I think I actually made a post about it. Like our first hater that we had on here, they were making the body shaming comments, and I was like, oh, that means we made it. Like we're getting traction. We're starting to get the trolls. But I know I had to mentally like tell myself like eventually there's gonna be people because you want to be seen that really don't care and they care enough to comment though some pretty hateful things. So was there like a learning curve, especially with social media, getting those messages where you were like, "Oh shit, like I didn't expect people to be this upset."
no. I think I always knew people would be this upset, and I think only the reason why is because so, like, in law school, you're taught about, um, when people thrust themselves out into the public light, you subject yourself to what people say about you, right? And it's used in for, like, defamation or libel, I can't remember, whatever, but that's basically the storyline is that when you put yourself into the limelight, you accept whatever people are gonna say about you, and you've
Mm,
kind of put yourself out there. So for me, I kinda knew it, right? I kinda knew from the jump when I started to go on the internet, there was gonna be people that said stuff. Um, and for me, it's like, I think it's funny. Like, I'm like, "Dude, you really spent this much time, like, hating on me? That's so crazy." Like, that's so embarrassing for you because like, I'm out here killing it. But by all means, like, continue to send me messages. Like, it's just more engagement on my stuff. Continue to comment. Like, it's not at the end of the day, like, engagement is engagement. So I think what people don't seem to understand is that the more and more you comment on my stuff, the more and more you tell the world how much you hate me or hate that I love myself, it's not hurting me. Like, it's
yeah.
just doing something for you. And what I do love about the plus size community is that they ride hard for their people.
Mhm.
And like, they are going to comment back and eat you alive. Like, my friends are gonna, like, go through their last 7 pictures, they're gonna find your ex-girlfriend, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, we found her, and she also said that you were trash." So it's like,
Mhm.
I don't
Yeah.
even need to do anything because the people that love me, the plus size community really is out here fighting for their people, so they really don't
Yeah.
take lightly to people shaming somebody because of the way that they look. And my whole
Yeah.
thing is like, I lost a significant amount of weight from last year. And, I always tell people, like, I loved myself at, like, 300 pounds. I love myself at, whatever weight I'm at now, I don't know, like, 230 or whatever. And I'm like, there was never a time where your comments made me hate myself. Like, that wasn't
Right.
it. That wasn't it for me, babes. Like, it's it's really just you wasting your own breath. So, I mean, I think, like, it's definitely interesting when you get them, but, I mean, then I look at their profiles and I'm like, "Stop.
Yeah.
This isn't thing."
It's always so interesting to me, like how emotionally invested they seem about people that they seemingly don't care about at the same time. It's like but you're really mad though, and that they definitely need some therapy. Just when a chica said some people just have too much time and have nothing better to do. Yeah, I don't know. It could not be me. I mean, when it comes to the confidence and putting yourself out there, like I said, I feel like I'm still work in progress with that. Social media does scare the shit out of me. I think that, and this could just be my perception, but I feel like women. in the social media realm, let alone women of color. Like, I feel like men feel like they can really talk crazy to us in the DMs. Like, the way that
They
they take it
do.
is just, and I'm like, I swear I feel like you wouldn't be talking to another woman like this, and it just blows my mind.
Oh, yeah, like, I've had a dude ask me for my bath water, like, "You're so weird,
Yeah.
stop."
Yes.
I was
And it's a
tempted, I was like,
very
Should I? Like, how much are we talking? Like, what?" And then I was like,
Oh my
"No."
gosh.
But yeah, no, I mean, that's why anytime I'm on, like, any kind of public platform, I always tell people, I'm like, I read all the DMs, and I have to because a lot of the times, like, business owners will DM me, and they'll
Mm,
get in my hidden requests, right? Because they're not, like, a big brand or whatever. So, I'm like, I have to read the hidden requests. So, I
yeah.
see all your guys' weird stuff. I get it. Like, I see it. Like, it's so weird for me, and what's so bold is that you're cool with writing. Like, I'm about to screenshot it and post it. Like, don't make me
Yeah,
act crazy because what you're saying is crazy. Like,
literally.
the same man that writes a hate comment in my message in my on my comments is, like, in my DMs asking me for my number. Like, stop. It's always that one. It's never the one that's like, "Love your stuff. You're so beautiful." It's the one that's like, "Yo, you should, lose 50 more pounds and you'd be hot as shit." And then in my DMs being like, "Hey girl, like, would you be cool meeting up?" No, babes, because 'cause I'm still 50 pounds big.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, no, they really gotta work on that. The audacity is really the only word that comes to mind, is the audacity. And I think for me too, it's when they don't get what they want, because I feel like there's a misconception for bigger women too, that we are
I'm gonna
easy
take
to
everything.
get or easy to pull. So don't let, especially if it's like their first bigger woman that they're trying to go after, they think is cute or whatever. Don't let you decline them because they are losing their shit. And then they're gonna tell you how big they think you are. And it's like, but you okay. That's what we're
Like,
doing?
"You were
Okay.
fat anyway." And I'm like, "Oh, was I? Was I fat anyway, babes? I was fat when you
Right.
were begging for my number, like, 10 minutes ago, stop. I've been fat for the
Yes.
last 15 years, okay?" So, like, you like and also, they get real crazy. They're like, "Go, whatever yourself." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Really?
they
All 'cause they said
do.
no to you?" The way that I would never act that way, and the way that men get to a level when they get turned down, where it's like violence, anger,
Mhm,
and then
mhm.
like disgusted with themselves. And I'm like, what path led you here? Who hurt you? You know what I mean?
How
Like,
did we get here? Yeah.
right, how did we get here? How did we get from you telling me like, "Hey, pretty mama, like, let me take you on a nice trip," to like, "I'm gonna, like, find you and go, like, end your life." Like, "What, babes? No. No, be
Rejection.
weirdo." Like, rejection is
They
crazy,
can't
and, like,
take it.
I've been rejected from tons of things. Never have I been
Right.
like, "You know what? That's it. That's it. I'm gonna lose my now." And it's
Oh,
so crazy.
man.
It really is the way that, they can't handle rejection,
Man.
and the way that they think you're willing to accept crumbs. Babe, no.
Oh,
Like, I know
oh.
I'm that girl. I'm not willing to accept what you think because you think I should. Clearly,
I
you've been
and
messing with wrong girls.
And I feel like men have a warped conception on how dating, and I feel like sometimes even thinner women have a misconception on what it's like dating as a big girl. When I was smaller, I couldn't really pull anybody, and I thought I looked just so good, and I didn't pull anyone. When I gained weight after my babies and I was divorced, oh, I'm pulling them left and right. Like, I'm like, how did this? Okay, I'll take it. Shit, you like it? I love it. Like, Imma go, so I think they think we don't have any options, but we definitely,
Yeah.
big girls are in, okay? We got options, alright?
We've always been in.
That's
Please.
true.
We've always been in, we're goddesses. We just haven't been in society's formats. Like, here my whole thing is it's like, I've never had an issue pulling a man a day in my life. Um, and it's kinda like, is that because I'm big or is that just because of who I am as a person, right? Like, my
Right.
personality. For me, it's like, I think that when people are attracted to you, sometimes they're attracted then more than just the way that you look, right? They're attracted to
Mhm.
your vibe, your energy, the aura that you give off. So, I think, like, I've pulled dudes that have been like, "Yeah, I've never been with a big girl before," and they're like, I'm like, "And?" Like, that seems like that's like a you thing, right? Like, not a me thing. And they're
Yeah.
like, "You're just so different." And I'm like, "Nah, man, you just my personality is just so outgoing, and the other girls that you've been with probably were a little bit shyer, but they probably were bad too. They probably were like the greatest chicks in the world. You just
Mhm.
couldn't see past what you thought you needed to get to." But the crazy thing is in 10 years when you've lost all your hair, like, you're gonna be out here mad because, somebody had 2 babies and they haven't lost that 40 pounds. Stop.
Yeah.
Like, I have never said anything to a man about the way that they look, but the way that men feel so comfortable, like, I have gone on so many dates, and I've never been like, "Take your hat off." Like, "Show me what that hairline looks like." I've
Yeah,
never
'cause
been
that
like
matters.
right, I've
That
never been
matters.
like, "Your dating app said 6'3", but boy, you 5'6". Like, never. Never have I ever said that because it's never been a thing for me, I've
Oh
never
my
cared.
gosh.
But the way that they're like, "She looked nothing like her picture." And I'm like, "You didn't either." That's why I
Right.
always when I was dating, I put my full body. I said, "Let me get
Mhm.
every angle, let you see every side so that you're not gonna be like, 'She catfished me.'" She didn't look like that.
Exactly.
No, babes, I looked like this. This is exactly how I looked when you clicked on all the messages. The issue is that you were just swiping on every girl.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And then you were like, "Whoops, I hit a big one," and I'm like, "Yikes for you." You know what I
Oh,
mean?
man. Lucky for them, because 'cause you're amazing. Dang, that is crazy. I do wanna get into Jess's question. She said, "What does she think about people like Lizzo that get dramatic weight loss that seemed unnatural and get praised for it?" I feel like she's been working on that weight loss for a minute, though.
Yeah, no, so she definitely has been, like, out of the scenes for, like, a year and working out, and I think it's a bit of a, like, double-edged sword when it comes to being a part of the plus size community and losing weight, right? Because then people hate you real quick, but it really only matters if you forget where you came from. I don't know if Lizzo will ever forget where she came from. Um, but then again, I don't know, I'm not a huge follower on a whole bunch of her stuff, right?
Mhm.
Um But I think there are a lot of famous people that were once big, lose their weight, and then exclusively buy clothes that are only available to small people. And that's the big thing that I have an issue with, right? Don't ever forget where you came from. Don't ever forget those companies that were out here making 4X's when you need one, right? Like, make
Mhm.
sure that you're still pumping the people that pumped you. Like, I think it's great when companies are willing to make clothes at my size, right? I've had boutiques reach out to me millions of times that have said like, "Hey, we don't sell plus size, but like we can make something for you in that size." And I'm like, "Well, then I can't work with you because my brand is plus size. And I'm not going to be a girl that's out here rocking a shirt that the rest of my friends can't buy.
Mhm.
That's not fair. And that would be disingenuous to my brand and who I am. Like even if I eventually got small, I'm still gonna buy from companies that have an extended size range, because for
Yeah.
me, that's important. That's where I came from. Those are the people that made me who I was when I had nothing.
Yeah. That's really important, and I feel like for a while there, we knew, like, the size chart just was not sizing the way it should, and then we had a really big push for inclusion, and then sizes started kinda matching more, and then you had the, accessibility to, like, the 2X and up that most stores didn't. Now the stores have them. I don't know if you've realized lately, but I feel like a lot of them are sizing back down again.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So there was a huge pump during COVID because
Mm,
people were gaining weight. So companies had to make the clothes more accessible in bigger sizes and in store, and online. However, now that that trend has kind of gone back down and we're on the big Ozempic trends and we're on the big trends like that, we've
yeah.
gone back to glorifying 2000 skinny. And we've gone back to making it less accessible. That's why you haven't seen a lot of big girls on the runways, right? You're not seeing
Mm,
girls that aren't 5'9" on a runway. You're not seeing a 5'4", 240, 5'4", 230. Like, but yeah, I would say that's definitely something that I've noticed too. It happened after COVID. Everyone was so body positive during COVID because you had
mhm.
to. I mean, it was just the way people were gaining weight left and right during COVID, and no company wanted to lose their mass amount of people. So you couldn't shame the big community at that point. But now that that's,
Yeah.
done.
I didn't even think about COVID being related to that, but that makes so much more sense. Yeah, because I went to try to shop the other day and I was like, "Damn it, they are sizing back down again." They are
Yeah,
sizing back down, and I'm not happy with that.
I've never been able to go into a store, minus, like, Torrid, and I
Yeah.
don't buy their stuff, and get clothes. Like, I remember there's this guy I work with, and he was like, "Let's go to the gym after work," and I was like, "I can't just, like, go to the gym after work." And he was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "I don't have clothes with me." And he was like, "We can just run into, like, the Macy's or something." And I was like, listen here, standard. I know that you can walk into any store and get anything, but
Mhm.
this non-standard size cannot. No, 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 no. They don't sell workout clothes for me at the Macy's. Um, so no, I'm not gonna be able if you wanna work out, you're gonna have to tell me a day in advance so I can pack clothes that fit me. But,
Yeah.
like, you think we could just walk into any store in Center City is wild. Like, I
Mm-mm.
work in Philadelphia, and there still ain't stores that are, big sizes that I can buy clothes in unless I, like I said, ran into Torrid and went and bought clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I hate that. I really hate that for us. I think that that's why, and a lot of my homegirls be like, "Dang, girl, you don't need to be buying online. Like, you need to be trying them on." I'm like, I'm buying online because I get pissed off if I even attempt to go in one of those sizes. I'm like, it should fit, and it doesn't fit. I get upset, and we all are different shapes and sizes, so it is hard to find something, especially in stores for us. Damn, I don't
For sure.
know. As far as Lizzo losing that weight, I think I like what you said as far as, like, remember where you came from. I don't know if she could ever really forget it because she built her entire brand off of being a big girl.
Yeah, and
So
I
it'll
think
be
she
interesting
feels
to
it right
see.
now.
Mhm. Yeah, and she's been vegan for a while too. Like, she's definitely
Right.
been an example of healthy living. I'm curious what she did to drop that amount of weight because she had been working on herself for a while before she went in hiding. So I don't know if she'll, like,
Yeah,
share her tricks or anything like that, but I know the internet's definitely loving her now,
yeah. I think you do
for
have
sure.
somewhat of an obligation as a public figure to be completely honest about what you use to lose weight because when you don't, you set unrealistic standards for young girls, and I think that's where things get dangerous. I'm not saying you should always have to disclose your medical information. I completely understand that that's private. Unfortunately, when you put yourself into the world and you put yourself on the internet, you unknowingly become a role model. And whether or not you consent to it, when you put yourself out there, people see it and young girls are seeing it, right? Unless you are very careful, very curated to make sure your content is not absorbed by any children or anyone at like an adolescent's age, which I would say the majority of people don't do, then I think you have an obligation to be completely honest about it because there are girls out there then starving themselves to try to gain that accessible amount of weight loss in that short period of time. And it's not attainable, right? Like when I lost a whole bunch of weight, I was working out every morning at 5 a.m. I also told the internet I used a Zepbound for the first 3 months. You know what I mean? I said, hey, listen, I used Zepbound. I couldn't get Ozempic, couldn't get Wegovy, couldn't qualify for any of it. So I used Zepbound, and I actually lost the least amount of weight when I was on Zepbound versus when I was just in the gym working out every single day at 5 a.m. and then after work and changing the way that I ate. But I said, I'm also going to be honest because if I'm not honest, if I don't disclose this information, then it's a disservice. People think that they can drop. I lost 70 pounds in from January to, like, I don't remember, November,
Mm,
and that's not always an accessible weight loss, right? So I said, "Hey, these are the medicine." I was on Zepbound, and I was working out every morning at 5 AM with a trainer, and then I worked out 30 minutes a day, every day, also separate from that trainer, where I said, "I'm never missing it on vacation, on the weekend, coming home at 12 AM." I would tell my fiancé, "We're walking up and down the steps in our apartment complex for 30 minutes because I can't miss this 30 minutes a day, no matter
mm.
what." So, I mean, I think that's the only downfall, right? Is once you put yourself out there, you really do have an obligation and you should feel like you should have to disclose it because it is tough on the younger generation. They're dealing with information that we never had to deal with, right? Like I wasn't absorbing information as quickly as they are. So
Mm.
for them to see it constantly in their face, I just think it's a bit, dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. And man, I don't know. That's a tough one. What do you think about the people who may criticize Lizzo for losing weight at all? Like not because I feel like when bigger women do lose weight, then there's this misconception that we didn't love ourselves when we were bigger. So since she built her whole brand on that, what do you think about the people who view that negatively, like think she should have stayed big for them?
I think it depends on really why you're losing weight, right? Like, is she losing weight for health reasons? Is she losing weight for um, her journey into self-love? Did she, why is she losing weight? I think that's her personal business and however she wants to handle it, right? Like I think if you send a message, I didn't lose weight because I hated myself, then that's kind of what has to go out there, right? Like I didn't lose weight because I hated myself. I have an autoimmune condition. I have lupus and RA, and I've always been completely candid about that. And at 309, I was like, if I fall, my arms are so weak, I don't know if I'm able to get back up. Like I was
Mhm.
terrified of having to ask for help. So I said, my doctor and me said, hey, we're going to, maybe we should see what we could do to just get you stronger. Not necessarily about you losing weight, but get you stronger. And that's why I did it. It wasn't because I hated myself at that size. I've never hated myself. I don't think she hates herself. I don't think she's ever hated herself, but I don't know. I don't know what's in her mind, but I wouldn't that would be something completely foreign to me thinking that she would feel that way based off of the way that she has portrayed herself on the internet. I think it could have just been a lifestyle change, right? She went vegan and then
Mhm.
she just started to, work out a whole bunch more. Was it for mental health reasons? Was it for, all these other things, right? Because some people work out for mental health. It's not
Yeah.
about losing weight, but it's about them, working out to like feel better. It's their therapy. It's, the thing that you control in a world that's uncontrollable. So, I mean, I think there's tons of different reasons why people lose weight, but I don't think we should criticize anybody's one reason unless they say, like, I did this because I hate myself. And then I think that's a dangerous message to send the world. And that I think is reckless. But if it's not that message, then I think really any other message is their business.
Yeah. That's very true when it comes to that, for sure. I'm really curious on your like continuing the modeling journey. When you were going into those spaces and we're talking about loving ourselves and being in unconventional places that maybe we weren't welcome before, did you receive any sort of backlash going into that? Like, especially posting like the modeling photos or even going in for like the photography sessions and whatnot?
Who do you mean from who? Like the internet or from
From
like
from, like, the people you were interacting with or maybe, like, nearby, because 'cause I'm not sure how the setup is, like, was everybody there for that specific, like, program, and was everybody there, like, bigger, or was it more of a variety?
yeah, so Crusades of Curves is like a modeling brand agency, company, whatever organization, I don't even know what to call them. They do tons of stuff, but I would say they are known for having curvy women. Like that
Mhm.
is what they are known for. Now, do they have straight sized women? Um, uh, some of the girls I felt looked straight sized, but I would say everyone was curvy, right? Everyone kind of had curves in some capacity. But I would say no. I mean, the spaces that like I said, Mallory, who runs it, does a really, really amazing job at curating the women that are in it
Mm.
and picking women who are accepting, opening, and welcoming. So I didn't feel any type of way, even with the designers that she chooses to work with. Everyone was so welcoming, so kind. You know what I mean? Like one of the girls, Amanda, she's known as Amanda Panda. She's a New York model. She taught me how to walk. She was like, "Hey, we'll do like practice walking." Cause like I had never walked a day in my life down a runway, right? Like
Yeah.
I know what I'm supposed to do. So no, I would say like everyone was really great. But again, I really say that that's Mallory more than anything, and the way that she runs her shows. The other content creation stuff that I've done and the other content shoots for companies have also been plus size companies. So I've never gone on a straight size shoot or anything like that where people weren't already looking for plus size girls. So Is that space probably different? I'm sure it is. I've just never been exposed to it. So I've only ever been in the plus size modeling space where all of them have really always been super welcoming, great, the companies that I've done it with and the photographers, everyone has always been super great.
Yeah, I love that. Can you talk about maybe not in that setting, right, with that modeling because they are more open and that's what they set their premise for. But can you talk about any other areas in life where you felt like you've had to set certain boundaries in like a professional setting based off of any sort of prejudgments that they may have of you because you're Latina or because you're a woman or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say all the time in law, every moment.
Okay.
I would say that so Latino lawyers make up 2.5% of the lawyers in the United States. Um, Women make up 23% of I think it's 23% of equity partners in firms in the United States. So, like, we're not out here in really any capacity. A lot of stats come out that send, not the wrong, but a kind of jaded message that they're like, for example, I think there was a stat out that said 60% of the graduating classes of law schools are now women. And that's great, and that's probably true, but as you heard in that previous stat with 23% only being equity partners, um, we're not in positions of power
Mm,
in the firms that people are in, and as Latinas, we're even less, right? So, I think there have been many incidences in my life, in my professional life, where being a woman, being Latina, and being plus size have all been a negative for me. Um, I was raised, where my mom is very strong, very outspoken. She was a woman in the computer science industry in the 90s when women weren't allowed in it and weren't part of it. So she has always told me to walk into every room like a man, and
mm,
I have. And I think that for me, I have always come and said what I wanted to say and apologized later. And really never really apologized at all, if I'm being completely honest, because I'm gonna take what I want, what I need, and what I think I deserve. And if it's not what you think I deserve, then I'm not the one for you. I think that in the field of law, women are very competitive, very, very competitive. I don't compete with other women. I don't compete with anyone, to be completely frank.
mm,
I don't think there's anybody on this earth I need to compete with other than the person that I was the day before. There's truly nobody that has something that I desperately want. Um, so I think that that's hard being in the community because women don't love that, right? I'm very big on collaboration over competition. I wear other lawyers merch all the time. I'm out here promoting other lawyers all the time. I have a really different mindset in terms of that I don't think somebody else eating is stealing food from my mouth.
mm,
Um, Especially in the type of law that I'm in. There are more than enough, unfortunately, accidents that there are attorneys that will all have the cases. I also know that it would be a disservice as an attorney to think I could handle every single case. I'm not
mhm,
naive and I'm not stupid, and I care enough about my clients to want them to have good representation. And if I were to sit here and try to prevent every attorney from getting every case, then I would be doing a disservice to them, myself, and everyone involved. So, I think being a woman in law has always been challenging. I have met amazing women groups. So, there's a group called Women in Leadership. It's Will by Betty. She does a conference in New Orleans where she brings together the most powerhouse women in leadership roles. And I went to her conference last year, and it really really, like, replenished my soul. I had such little faith in the community, in the legal community. I had just, had horrible interactions with female attorneys previously, and
mm,
I got to meet all these amazing, amazing women. Um, and it really was like, wow, maybe I've just been meeting the wrong women. Maybe I've just been around the wrong type of people because all of these women are really backing each other. Um, so I think it's been tough having my mindset not being competitive, and then I think being plus size has also put me into a lot of positions where, um, people have assumed I'm going to be a certain way, that I'm gonna be quieter, meeker,
Mhm.
or gonna be more grateful to have things that not everybody else is as grateful to have, that I should be extra grateful to be allowed into spaces that I'm in, that I need to shrink myself down. I have felt more obligated to be put together because there is a stereotype as a plus size person that you're sloppy, lazy, and a billion other things under the sun.
Yeah.
So I have had to make twice the effort when working a job to look put together all of the time to not fit that stereotype in any capacity, especially in the field of law. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think in a way it has been such a struggle, but in a way it's been a blessing because I think I've done my best to be authentic, and I hope that opens doors for the next generation of girls of
Mhm.
lawyers. There are also amazing lawyers on Instagram and TikTok, like Reb Maisel, like Delara, like Attorney Martinez, who are out here changing the entire representation of what lawyers are. You know, flipping the script upside down on professionalism and the way that you view it, and being able to be an attorney and have a multifaceted life, right? That's why I do these other things because I didn't grow up in the 50s. I can't live on one income anymore, right? Being an attorney isn't the job that it was when my parents were younger, right? It yeah, it's a great job and yeah, I make good money, but in today's society, one person can't live off a single income anymore. You need to
Yeah.
be multifaceted. And I think what I've been trying to do is show the world that you can be a lawyer and be tons of other things, right? I tell people I'm a lawyer last. Like it is the least interesting thing about me. It's just my 9 to 5.
Mm.
Yeah. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, no, it definitely did, and I really think, like, your energy just reminds me of the premise I think it was, like, New Year's a couple years ago, where I just wanted to change my mindset with the "why not me" theory of, like, "Why can't I do this? I'm multifaceted. If I wanna do this and also have this and this, why not me? Why can't I have that? I absolutely can." And just having that mindset allows you to pursue your dreams, which is a huge premise for this podcast itself, and really give you that motivation to just like, just go fucking do it. Just go do it. I love that. I love that. You mentioned something that I just want to like touch on briefly because I haven't really gotten to talk to another like female entrepreneur about that. You mentioned that your mom taught you that when you're walking into these rooms to show up as a man. So, can you talk about kind of like balancing like the masculine with the feminine, especially being like a woman in business? How quickly did you catch on to that, like, "I'm gonna walk in and I'm gonna be, like, the man of the room?"
I think that it really depends on what you're asking for, right? Because I think you have to learn your strengths. There was somebody who said to me when I was first an attorney that I was all frosting and no cupcake. And I thought that it was like the most offensive thing somebody could say to me. And I
Mm,
remember looking at the person and saying that I'm going to be the best fucking frosting that there is. And he said, or they said that the way that I'm going to be good at what I do is I'm going to use my sweetness to work with people and people are going to, underestimate me. Um and I was kind of like I don't think I need to be sweet. I don't think I need to play into that role.
right.
And then I went into the field and I realized that being sweet and being nice and you get more bees with honey is certainly true in the field that I'm in. So when I'm negotiating with adjusters for more money for my clients, I'm very conscious in the way that I speak with people. Um, but when I'm speaking with employers or when I'm speaking with people, not in terms of like me trying to get more money in an adjuster, but in roles and positions of power in my life, I do speak with authority. So there have been many times I've walked into rooms where I say, I found out this person made this much money. Why are they making more money than me? Um,
Mm,
I think I'm worth this. I've had people say to me, like, "Do you think you're worth it?" And I say, "I'm worth every single penny. And if you don't think so, then this isn't the position for me."
mm,
And that's been my life inside and outside of law, right? I've always said when I'm going to approach a person of position of power, of authority over me, I'm never gonna appear weak and I'm never gonna appear meek. I'm going to come on exactly as I would speak with confidence and authority. But those also come with having facts behind you, right? Like
Yeah.
when I'm asking for more money, I'm coming with the positive things about me. I'm showing you why I deserve more money. Um, and I think that's kind of what my mom meant in terms of walking into a room like you control the room. I'm not
Yes.
acting overly masculine. I think a lot of um, women in the legal community do, and it comes off the wrong way sometimes. I don't think I do that. I don't think you could ask any lawyer in the world if they think that I'm overly masculine. I don't think they would say I am. I think they would say that I speak with surety when I'm speaking with people in positions of power, and then I'm
Mhm.
sweet and times. I'll remember details about your life. I'm gonna remember that person's kid's birthday, because people care about details, and that means a lot, and,
Yeah.
my dad taught me that, right? Make everybody feel important and don't forget the little things because that's the difference between my client getting sometimes $10,000, $15,000, or $50,000 or $30,000, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it can all come into the way that you communicate. Um, but yeah, I think it's really less about being overly masculine and more about being sure of yourself, which unfortunately is a lot of the times um projected as a male trait,
Yeah.
right? Just like bossy is a female trait for leader, right? When it comes to a man, you would say he's a leader. He's
Mhm.
strong. When you're dealing with a woman, you'd say she's bossy.
Yeah.
She's persistent. So I think that it's really in the verbiage that we use, but I
Mhm.
think you have to walk with assurance when you're asking for things. And a lot of the times, statistically, men apply for jobs that they're not qualified for. And that's, stats. That's not just me talking shit on men. Um, and women tend to apply for jobs that they are um, overly qualified for because they feel like jobs, that they are technically qualified for are too high for them, right? They don't want to,
Mhm.
if a job says you need 7 to 8 years of experience and they have 7, they're like, "Oh, wait, I don't have 8," right?
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference is a lot of the times statistically with the things that people say about men, they're applying to jobs that say 5 to 7 years and they got a year experience.
Mhm.
And that's what I do, right? I've applied to jobs and that I'm not qualified for, but I always am upfront. I'm always honest. I always say, "Hey, listen, your job has this requirements, but I have this, and let me tell you why I'm the right choice, even though I don't
Yeah.
have those things."
Yeah. And that's important. I really think it comes down to like advocating for yourself, for sure, believing in yourself. It's gonna go a long way. I like what you said about it's not necessarily masculine. You're just speaking with a surety. So that's ladies, take that as a tip if you are in the professional industry. Just when Chica said, I work in the restaurant slash food industry, mostly male dominated industry. I dislike the idea of doing the job like a quote unquote man in order to survive and work through the biases. Yeah. Now I'm curious, like, what exactly you do, like a man. Yeah, no, I get that. We all bring. I feel like there is a lot of things that women do. Like for me, I used to work at a call center. I was like over operations, stats, and all that good stuff. And it was all women. It was a call center. It was nothing but women and like this one old man. And then I switched jobs after doing that for 6 years. I got spoiled. 6 years doing that. And then I switched jobs. And now I'm in a male dominated industry. Now I'm in landscaping. And the switch, and I love my job. I love the people at my job. So fellas, if you're watching, don't get offended. But the switch from like walking in and all the girls being like, "Oh, there's Miss G," da da da, and like having that position of power to being one of the what we are lovingly called to as office girls was one of the most like humbling. I had to really like sit with that. And I was like, office girl, the fuck are they talking about? Office girl. I used to do this, that, and the third. Like, what? And now I'm just the office girl. So there was like an identity crisis, I think, when I got some of that power taken away. Um, damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, I
What
think
do you feel about that? Like, go
yeah,
ahead.
I mean, I think, like, like, there have been tons of times where I've had to eat dirt, right? Like,
Mhm.
my like, one of my first legal jobs, I worked 12-hour days, I worked every weekend, I gave it my blood, sweat, and tears at the place I was at, um, and I just would see, like, some of my male colleagues give a third of what I gave, and I mean, it, like, flipped a switch in me, I think probably 6 months to 7 months in where I was like, "Screw this." Like, I'm not doing that, and if I get fired, I get fired. And I also think a lot of the times people respect people that are willing to advocate for themselves, right? You
Yeah.
might not love it, but you damn sure are gonna remember me, right? You might not like what I say, but you're gonna remember that I said it. And I think that's the big thing, right? Is that you're always leaving a presence and a space. I don't think you should have to act like one of the boys. I refuse to play into the boys club mentality. I work with all men. I have one female attorney that I work with now at the firm I'm at. Now, I will say this, the firm that I'm at, um, they are great. They are the first time I think I've worked at a firm in a long time that, the men are all, like, good men. And that's,
Mm,
like, such a low bar in the legal community, right? Like, my boss was very great when I went through a divorce. I had been at the job for 2 weeks, and then I come
mm,
back and I'm like, "Yo, man, my husband just left me." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to work right now." And he was like, "What can we do? Can we help you get an apartment? Your job is safe. We'll take care of you. You don't have to come into work. Like, just take care of you." And they paid me like my full paycheck when I came
wow.
in, like maybe once a week. And I don't think I worked a solid week my first full year there. And he didn't know me from a can of paint. It's not like I had been there for a
Wow.
year and a half. I had been there 2
Yeah.
weeks. And the first week I was on vacation. Um, and yeah, no, so I mean, like, there are so many good men in the industry, in the
Mhm.
industry of law. It's just like there are so many good women versus bad women. I don't think you should ever play into the narration of acting like one of the boys. I think, for her, like, if that's what they expect of you, don't do it. I wouldn't do it. For me, I don't ever play into being, one of the guys. I've always called people out on it. Like, I've gotten called babe, toots, whatever, and I'm just like, "Oh, like, you're the same age as my dad." It's so crazy. Because that's
Yeah.
one thing men find super uncomfortable, especially when they're, like, trying to be, like, sweet to you, and you're like, "Wow, that reminds me of what my dad used to call me, Tootsie Pop."
Mm, yeah.
Crazy. And then they're like, "What? Gross." And I'm like, "Yeah, gross. Don't
Yeah.
talk to me
You see how
that
that
way."
feels?
Or the Latina thing, like, I always get like, "Oh, you're,
Yeah.
like, feisty, you're Latina." And I'm like, "No, you're just a dumbass. It wasn't that I was being
Mhm.
feisty, I called you stupid and no one else says it to your face."
And see,
Like,
and somehow that's still a turn on for them. You say that and they're just like, "Yes, even feistier." I love it.
so
That is
true.
something you know what, just to add a little, cause we're talking about important stuff. We also have fun. That stereotype of Latinas being feisty, and it's honestly frustrating because we really do be going off on y'all, and men don't take it serious.
No, I'm gonna
They don't
lose it.
take it serious. Does your fiance like when you argue with him? Is he like, "Oh yeah," or does he not? Is he over that at this point?
I actually don't really we don't really argue all that much,
That's good.
I feel like what it is, though, is that I think I lawyer it out. So, I
Mm,
unfortunately don't know how to shut that portion off. So, like, he'll get pissed because I'll start to respond and be like, "Oh, is that what we're saying? Okay, I just wanna confirm that that's what we're going against." Like, for sure, I mean, let's play back the record. I don't know if that's specifically what you said, but if that's what you said and he's like, "Stop. Don't do
yeah.
that." But no, I
That's
would
you
say,
have a
like
secret weapon. That's not fair. That's not a fair fight.
I would say, yeah, no. But I would say, yeah, no, of course, like, I would say most men like when women are quote unquote feisty, right? Like, I mean, he probably eats it up, right? He's with a Hispanic girl. I mean, this
Yeah.
isn't new to him. So, and he's only, I think, ever been with white women other than that.
See, and that's I don't know if it's better when I talk to men who I'm like the first Latina they've talked to, or if it's better to talk to the serial Latina daters, the men who only want to date Latinas. 'Cause I don't know which one is better or worse. Ramses, he said that's a you problem, G. No, it's all Latinas deal with that. All Latinas have to deal with that. We
We
start
do.
popping off and y'all like, oh, it's like, no, I need you to take me serious.
Right, because 'cause I'm like, "No, no, no, I'm really getting angry."
Really
They're like, "Are you?
mad.
How angry? Super
Yeah.
angry?" They're like, "Ooh, what are you gonna hit me?" And I'm like, "No, what?
What?
I never
I
lay my
don't
hands on a man."
Ramses, since you're in here and JR is like he's here, but he's not here. He's here,
He hates
y'all. Say happy
he
birthday
hates
to JR. Hi, JR. But Ramses, can you speak for the fellas? Why do y'all like that? Why do y'all like glorify that with Latinas? Because y'all don't glorify any other woman. You're like, no, she's talking disrespectful or she's doing too much. Latinas, we get that pass, and y'all think it's funny. Just wanted she could say we do deal with that. Yeah, everybody deals with that. And I know y'all were looking for JR. It's not his birthday today. He lied. And that's why he didn't want to face y'all and come on tonight.
I begged him to come on.
She did. I
I
think
did.
you were trying to lawyer him a little bit to come on.
No, he was like, "Not in," he was like, "No, not you, girl." But I
Yeah.
did. I tried really hard to get him on. I said, "You were on with every other guest, but not me."
Mhm.
He
She
didn't wanna
did.
get on with this Latina, he did not.
He didn't want to do it. Y'all made him upset the last live. Ramses said happy 22nd B-Day, JR. He is not no 22. JR, say thank you. At least can they hear you?
Dead air,
Dang.
dead air.
He probably just did. She's probably not even at his desk anymore.
He's probably
Ran the
listening.
cameras on left. Okay, he's there. There's a soundboard. Ramses said, I grew up in Miami. It's not a common view in the community. What's not a common view in the community?
Oh, feisty Latinas and liking it. I would say maybe it's, like, more
Mm.
in areas where Latinas aren't as, like, present, right? Like, I grew
Yeah.
up in, like, a whitewashed area, and my fiancé literally looks like an American flag. So, like, I would say, like, it depends on the areas that you're, like, in, where I would say that's more of fetishized with them because it's not something that they see as often, right? I would say probably less in areas that it's in, like Miami. I don't know. I mean, there's far more Latinas in like Miami.
Yeah. And I think to be fair, Ramses, you are also Latino. So I feel like Latin men don't get as excited as
No,
non-Latin men about them. Of course not, because they can understand us. They
no,
grew up with
they're like,
that.
"Don't even pull that." They're like, "What are you
Yeah,
doing?
that yeah. I'm gonna be
There's that much
honestly,
chemo."
I'm trying to think back to like my exit because I grew up predominantly white area. I to be honest, I wasn't like how y'all hear me now, like Puerto Rican this, Puerto Rican that. I wasn't like that growing up because it was safer and less uncomfortable for me to like hide it kind of or omit it to an extent. Hold on. Ramses said Latino women are just accepted of anything. There's stereotypes between the yeah, there are stereotypes between the countries for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. But I'm trying to think. I remember a couple of my like high school boyfriends. They didn't want me speaking Spanish. They didn't want me
Were they
listening to the music. They were white. But they would love to be like, "Oh, my girlfriend's Puerto Rican," but they did not want me to act it. Like it was just for like to say it. I didn't get praise for the like Latina features or like being spicy or get it ogled at like that until college, to be real with you.
Yeah, same, 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 because I think I whitewashed the shit out of myself until I was,
Yeah.
like, 30, and then I was like, "You know what? Everyone's been talking to me in Spanish for years anyway." Like,
Yeah.
everyone else has been telling
Yeah.
me, like, "You're definitely Spanish," and I was like I never didn't say I was Spanish, I think it was more of just, like, I wasn't in areas where, um, like, there were a lot of other Spanish people. Now I put myself into areas where there are a lot of other Spanish people, right? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
go to a
yeah.
lot of Spanish events in New York and all that kinda stuff, but I don't think I've ever dated, anyone who's ever dated Latina women before, other than like, I don't
Oh,
think I've
you've
ever done
always been there first.
Yeah.
Ooh, look at you go I'm always, like, one of many. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I'm normally at least the 3rd one that they've dated or talked to.
But I also like my dating history isn't all that expanse, right? Because like
Mhm.
I met my ex-husband at 17.
Okay.
Then he left me at 32. And then I dated from 32 to th to like 33. So we're talking a year time span in which I dated people.
Okay, okay, okay.
I was on dating
That makes
apps.
sense.
And like I had never even
Gotcha.
been I mean, like I was 17 when I had dated last. So I dated a significant amount of people in that time frame. Like I said, I like had somebody else that I was engaged to in that time frame. But I mean, it yeah, no, I wasn't like I was serial dating. I didn't know anything about
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Ramses said, Latino men have the stereotypical view that white
White
women
women.
are more docile than Latinas. He also said, but that's just stereotypes. You find a woman willing to throw hands in all cultures. Yeah, no, I grew up with plenty of white girls that would put hands on you. No questions asked. No questions asked. And I would be the calmer one. But it's not a lot of men that like that or have that fetish if they truly kind of have a fetish, because there is a difference between like admiring Latina women and fetishizing them. Y'all actually like violence. Like y'all will joke about the knife, the like we're really gonna murder you, and for some reason y'all look excited about it. Like that's never okay. That's never okay. We don't condone that.
I'll never lay my hands on a man, and I
Yeah.
stand by that, 'cause trust me, I would have laid my hands on my ex-husband, but I would never lay my hands on a man. Like, I always told myself that, like, I will never, ever, ever allow someone to make me lose a piece of myself
Mm,
in being willing to commit a crime, give up everything I've worked my ass off for, and have me fit into somebody else's narration of what they think I am. So,
mhm.
like, lay my hands on you? No, never. I'll make you wish I laid my hands on you. That I will do.
That's almost worse, I feel like.
It's always worse, babe, always worse, and that's what it is. It's
Oh,
the
man.
mind game. I'll get into it. I'm in your brain, I live there, I'm rent free. I have a hotel. Like,
Psychological warfare is super underestimated, but women are amazing at it, let alone Latina women. I feel like we're extra special with
for sure.
psychological warfare. Damn, that's crazy. I like that he said it's just stereotypes. It really is. There's a whole trend now of passport bros going to Latin countries to find more traditional women.
What's traditional?
Yeah, like what I'm always interested when I see that too, because I'm like, you but it's not gonna go how you think it's gonna go, because even though you are a man and they are a traditional woman, you're also not of their culture, and you're not showing up in the same ways that the men of their culture
No, you're
may
definitely
show
not.
up. So I it's like the passport bros, most of y'all are don't cancel me, but most of y'all are fuck boys here in the States. So I don't know why you think you can go to another country and get someone who's gonna be submissive. They're gonna see through that shit. Come
No,
on
because the
now.
men in their culture are willing to work 7 jobs,
Yes.
and I'm not working a day in my life. I'm chilling at home, taking care of kids. And
Mm,
listen, if you wanna do that listen, I've always been the breadwinner in every relationship I've been in. And listen, if somebody wants to, send me back to their country and take care of me, you're crazy. Because it's also like then you have to be that representation of that culture that you're going to then go collect, right?
mhm.
You're a passport bro, you're going to go pick up a woman, a traditional woman. Well, then you better be a traditional man and make enough money to support a family and kids. And, like, good luck with that in American culture.
Yeah, it's rough out here.
It's
It's
rough.
rough out here.
I'm a whole
And a lot of y'all that are talking about you want a traditional woman, you don't wanna do it for real. You don't want the committed relationship. You don't want the responsibility. You
you want
don't.
You want her to cook and stay at home, that's what you mean.
Mhm.
But, like,
Yes.
are you supplying money for the family? And I mean for the lifestyle to which she's accustomed, right? Like, hope you got 6 jobs. Hope you got 6
Mhm.
jobs and a at least six-figure bank account. and that's minimum,
Mm,
minimum. We're talking, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. That is what I find so crazy about men wanting traditional women, and I'm like,
mhm,
"What good old family values are you talking about?" Like, I've never been a traditional woman, I don't think.
no. And I don't really know how the households work over there, but I think they really ultimately just want what you were talking about, Heather, that submission. They think that because we're of a different culture that it's just gonna be like trained dogs. They just come already trained. You ain't gotta do nothing with them. And that's not no. Those women are women as well. They will be emotional. They will have requirements. They have boundaries. They the same as we do, the same that we do. That's crazy.
Absolutely,
Ramses
and I
said they show up with money. But what else though? It's more than just the money, it's the character of the person.
also how much money, stop. Because
That makes me
even in other
sorry, go
countries,
ahead.
money better be a lot. Because the American dollar ain't actually even worth all that much that many more. I think our
Mm.
passport dropped down in, like, the levels of power a whole bunch, I can't remember what that was, but, like, let me know how much money you think you're rolling through another country with and that you're gonna be able to support a whole ass family with.
Well, all this shit, ain't nobody trying to come over here anymore. So I don't know how the passport bros is gonna be working. We are not people don't want to come over here right now. Not right now.
We're a bit, we're on the, like, do not call list.
Mhm.
Countries are like, "No,
Absolutely.
America?
Yeah. Which
Ain't
is
look."
a really scary thought. Just when a chica said the same with those that go to some Asian South Pacific island countries. Yeah. Going to the Philippines, anything like that. I mean, I'm an advocate for love. And if you want to find it long distance and you have, because I feel like it's a thin line between like a fetish and a preference. But,
Right.
I mean, I like 90 Day Fiance. I'm like, I just love love. But if y'all are like passport bros, because I'm gonna get a bitch that listens to me, like it's not. You're going for the wrong reasons. Promise you are.
I don't think I've ever heard of Passport Bro a day in my life.
It has to be like a TikTok thing. It's got to be everything's a TikTok thing these days. Ramses said they work remote jobs and making 60K in Colombia. You are 1%. What is
Wait,
1%?
stop, I'm about to go to Colombia. Say less.
I'm gonna have to do it.
Wait, no, I'm about to book a flight to Colombia. Where? Bogota? Let me know,
It's,
because I'm about to be a
Colombia's
queen.
average yearly salary is like 10K.
But what's their quality of life? What's the houses look like? Like, what's the what am I working
Okay,
with?
Ramses, and are they actually staying overseas or are they getting the girls and then coming back like on some 90 Day Fiance shit? How does Passport Bros work?
Yeah, I need to know exactly how it works. I also need to know more about this Colombia 60K thing because you might have just changed my life.
I guess that's what it like transfers to.
I don't think it does. Like, I don't think the peso is that small to the American dollar.
Not anymore. I feel like
I don't think so. I don't think so anymore. I
they stay there. But that's a
they
little different. That's different. I feel like if you're like working remote and now you're immersed in the culture and then you're like advocating for like that's different. I thought you were saying passport bros is like we're gonna go get our passports, go find us a shorty over there that's gonna listen to us real good, bring her back. That's what I thought passport bros was.
Yeah, I've never heard that, but that's quite interesting.
Yeah, if they're looking to settle down or they keep moving around country hopping. If I could find myself a good remote job that doesn't care, because a lot of these remote jobs they care if you even move states. To be
Yeah, they
honest,
do.
so if I could find one that didn't care and I could travel the world oh, absolutely. Let me know. Where do I
I don't
sign
even
up?
think I could be a lawyer in Colombia. Like, I don't even think my
Mm,
American law degree exchanges there.
Colombia is crazy cheap. But is that like accessible? Is it easy to travel there and stuff? Or I don't know.
Now it sounds like we're all moving to Colombia.
Yeah, like, and they're
Look,
offering money for Americans to move out of the country. That's a whole thing too. Switzerland and
oh, I would go to Europe.
yeah,
I went to Paris, um, last last December 2 Decembers ago. That's where we got
yeah.
engaged. I would say
Oh,
there, I would for sure move. I really liked
you
Paris.
got engaged in Paris?
I did.
That's like a rom-com. I love
No, it's
that.
so cute. I don't know if this shows up.
Oh my God, is that the oh my God.
I
You're
know.
living a telenovela. I love that.
It's
That's
very
a
cute.
movie. Aw. Wait, how long were you guys together before you got engaged?
We had started dating in April and we got engaged in December.
Damn.
Well,
You know, you know.
we had been dating since January, but we were both, like, dating other people. I mean, he was dating,
Oh,
like,
gotcha.
13 other people, I was dating, like, 3.
He was dating how
Uh,
many other people?
oh my god, like 7. For 5'9", the boy was out there slinging words. I don't
Oh
even
my
know.
gosh.
I tell him
Damn.
he was out here, he was on the streets. He was in the streets. I
Wait, so
saved him.
like unrelated but still related, because I'm really curious. How did you handle the conversation to go from like seeing other people to
Oh my
being like
gosh.
exclusive? Was that difficult?
No, I told him that he has a 3-month subscription and that if you don't make a decision in 3 months, then I'm not it for you. This is like
Mm,
Netflix. You get a 90-day trial, and then you make a decision or you don't. But I'm not the one if you don't. So, no
mm.
biggie. And then he was like, "No, I wanna be exclusive." And I was like, "That's a decision, okay." And then I had to cut off my roster, which was kinda sad. And,
Oh man.
'cause there were some really good guys in it, like,
Yeah.
he's great, I love him to the end of the earth, obviously, but there were, like, some genuinely nice men that, like, I feel really bad about, 'cause I'm
Yeah.
like, "You were really great, like, you brought soup to my window when I had COVID."
Mm.
Literally drove, like, 30 minutes to go get me this specific 'cause I don't know if you've ever had this, but Chick-fil-A chicken noodle soup is
It's so
amazing.
good. Yes.
So good, and, like, where I live, the only Chick-fil-A that has the soup is, like, 35 to 40 minutes away. So, like, the
Mm.
guy drove 40 minutes, and then I wouldn't let him in my house because of, like, the fact that I was sick, so he came to my window and put the gave me the soup through the window.
Oh,
Nice, you know?
damn.
And then I was like, "Sorry, it's just not working out."
Was it
I
like well, I don't know if you can say this. I don't know if this would be asking too much, but was it like because he was the first one that wanted to make it exclusive, or was he your first choice as well?
you know, I wouldn't say it was either of those. I think it was, like he was definitely, like, my first choice in the fact that he made me laugh so much. Like, he was
Mm,
so funny. He is so funny. And we just always had a really good time together. And I think I always found it so funny that he thought he was, like, slick telling me he wasn't with anybody else. And I was like, "You're so cute. Like, it's cute that you think that. I believe you."
mhm.
Because, like, I damn sure know that you're lying. Because, like, the same way I'm like, "I'm only with you." Like, stop. We're 30 years old. You're not the only person I'm dating. That's crazy. Unless you call
Dang.
me your girlfriend, and then I won't be dating other people. But
Yeah.
if we're just hanging out, crazy, you're nuts. And I remember, no, he was just so funny, and he always made me laugh, and I was like when he was like, "I wanna make it official," um, I was like, "Yeah, of course, like, I've been waiting, like, what took you so long, man?"
Oh, I love that. I like that he makes you laugh. That's a good sign. That's a good sign.
He's so
Um,
funny.
just what Chica said, like everywhere, if you look for trouble, you'll find it. But I think Colombia isn't that great, but not as bad as Venezuela. I'm just scared to travel. I know I need to, but I'm scared.
Oh, I love traveling. It's my
Well, now I'm
favorite.
scared of the planes. They got us trapped here.
Oh, I just went on 2 planes. I'm actually flying in 2
Did you
weeks.
really?
RIP, man, girl, if I don't make it.
You have no fear. What the fuck? Like, you don't even
None.
look remotely nervous about that.
If it's it, it's it, girl. If it's it, it's it.
I mean, type shit. No, that's true. That's true. But
You also have
damn.
you have kids though, right?
Yeah, I do.
So that's what it is. So I don't have any kids. So I'm living here like, balls to the wall. Like I'm like, "Hey,
Yeah.
listen, what
It's
my dog will go to my dog will go to my sister. He'll have a good home." But,
yeah.
like, I'm here living my life, you only live
Damn.
once, I ain't got no kids. If I had kids,
Yellow.
you're right, I probably would travel less because I would be like, "If I die in this plane crash, that's it for them, like, crap." But
I'm not it's the turbulence. I can't like I get so well, I guess everybody would get nervous during the turbulence, but I remember we went in this small ass plane from Puerto Rico to the Dominican Republic. I wish we would have done it like via boat because the way that thing was shaking, like if we were a paper plane up there, I said, "Oh, never again, never
oh
again."
my gosh, I went on a small plane. My
Yeah.
assistant had booked the flights. We were flying it was the first time we were going somewhere for an event together, and we start walking, and, they were like, "Yeah, we gotta walk out here," and I'm like, "To the tarmac?" And they're like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Why the am I walking to the tarmac? What's going on?" And it was one of those, like, planes that's associated with American Airlines, that's, like,
Oh,
American or something, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's a two-seat row plane, and I'm like, "This is a toy jet, Lauren. What did you book us? I'm gonna die." And this is before all of this, like, crazy
oh
nonsense. I
shit.
get on the plane, and I'm literally sitting there, and I'm like, this is it for me. I'm clutching her with one arm, and she's like, "Don't touch me." And I'm like, "I'm
Oh.
touching you." And then I remember, like, watching the steward, the guy, the man
Yeah.
who was working, he literally his head touched the top when we hit so much turbulence, and I said, "This is it for me. This is
Oh
it.
no.
And I'm gonna die on the way to Boston? How
How
embarrassing."
long of a flight was that? It was a short
Like an
flight?
hour. It was like an
Yeah.
hour, but it was the wind, it was crazy. It
Oh
was
my
crazy.
goodness. Yeah,
I'm
no,
about
there's
to fly to
nothing.
Austin, Texas, and I'm a bit nervous, actually.
Do you know if that's gonna be like a smaller plane or you don't know yet?
No, it's like probably a Boeing, probably the ones that have been falling left and right, and what's worse is it's not a nonstop. Like, it has layovers, and
Mm,
I hate layovers only because it's, like, double the risk.
yeah.
But, like, me and my fiancé are going I'm speaking at an event, in Austin called House of Chingones, which I'm really excited about. It's a Latina event. Um,
Nice.
yeah, it's gonna be really cute. So I was like, "I have to fly, I had to go." He was like, "We could
Yeah.
drive there," and I'm like, For 4 days to Austin?
Yeah.
To be there for an hour? That's crazy. We're gonna fly.
Mm-mm. Where are you located again?
I'm in Philly.
In Philly. Nice. I love that we're meeting so many people from all over. Um, I know we've had a lot of good conversation. It's about that time to wrap up the episode. I'm curious, what are your final thoughts and how can people find you and help support your cause?
For sure. So my final thoughts would be this was so much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
I'm so grateful. And I would just say speak with, authority and confidence in everything that you do and always be your biggest cheerleader. And if you wanna find me, I'm on Instagram, that's my biggest platform, and it's there, Heather_RXOXO, and how you can help support me is if you know any small businesses or big businesses, any BIPOC businesses, Latino-owned, Latino, Latinx, Black-owned, Indigenous people-owned, send them my way, I would love to be able to showcase them to help them gain some visibility.
I love that. We so appreciated your time with us tonight, Heather. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you to everybody who's been watching the live as well, tapped in the conversation. Don't forget to share the episode and subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. You guys, support is important. Visibility is important. I love what Heather stands for and what she's doing for the community and people of color. And I know that that's largely our audience. And I'm just grateful to be able to have a platform where people like her can share her voice. So y'all be sure to go out and support and look for a local business today, okay? If somebody tells you that you can't, yes, the fuck you can. Best souls and blessings, and we'll see y'all Thursday.